Hey, with us now from Washington, NBC News Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent Andrea Mitchell. She's also, of course, the host of the show that the New York Times says will change your life and make your children quit smoking cigarettes. Wow. That is, of course, MSNBC's Andrea Mitchell reports at 1 o'clock. Andrea, Chuck Schumer not happy yesterday. Of course, a lot of those students killed, Long Island residents back in 1988. Something's going on here. I mean, England gets a deal with Libya, and then this terrorist is released. What are you finding out? What are you hearing behind the scenes? Was there a quid pro quo?
There is a lot of anger about it. The State Department is investigating. Schumer said yesterday that he thinks there should, first of all, be a demand for an apology from Hillary Clinton and an investigation. Ben Cardin, another senator, wants an investigation. But at this stage, they say they have no hard evidence of a deal, but there is so much suspicion that everyone is looking into it. And right now, U.S. officials are telling me that they are basically telling the Libyans how you treat this man, Megrahi, the only man convicted for one of the worst terror acts of the century. How you treat him from here on in will determine future relations. Here you've got next week Muammar Gaddafi celebrating the 40th anniversary of his rule. Big celebration. Then coming to New York, we believe, for the UN meetings and expecting a meeting with Barack Obama. That is not going to happen, I'm told. So there is a lot of anger, and there are repercussions in terms of the continuing improvement in relations, in diplomatic relations. We have an ambassador there. We do have full diplomacy. This was done by the Bush White House when Libya gave up its terrorism, we are told, and also gave up its nuclear weapons. But that is now being taken another look at as to how much the U.S. government, at least, will trust Libya as not having terrorist roots because of the way they are treating a convicted terrorist. And then, of course, there's the whole relationship with Scotland, where there's talk of boycotts against Scotland, and the U.S. is the biggest trading partner for Scotland.
Harold Ford, good morning. Over the weekend, Admiral Mullen painted a pretty pessimistic picture in Afghanistan. What's your sense from the White House as to how committed they are to committing more troops, and how do they look at this politically? Is this dragging them into a second war, second conflict that could pose serious problems for the president?
Well, this is the big war, and this is a serious problem, and this is the major foreign policy challenge for them. They have not defined what the end game is, what the mission is, and over the weekend, really importantly, according to Helene Cooper's reporting in today's New York Times, Richard Holbrooke, the special envoy, was told by the commanders in the southern region, the region most affected by Taliban challenges, that there does need to be more troops. You saw that Admiral Mullen yesterday was being very vague, as was Ambassador Eikenberry, about just what General McChrystal will be recommending to the president. They didn't want to say, they didn't want to get out front of that recommendation, but already we're seeing from the reporting, from what Dick Holbrooke is telling the people traveling with him, they want more troops.
It's interesting, speaking of Dick Holbrooke, Richard Holbrooke made a very interesting comment when asked about when things would be turning around, when victory would be at hand, and he said, he quoted Potter Stewart on pornography and said, we'll know it when we see it. That is not really comforting to a lot of Americans.
Yeah, I'm wondering what might have been lost in diplomatic translation there for Richard Holbrooke. Because
because the thing is, Andrea, Richard is a man of few words, so he's like an oracle. You have to wait a second. No, he's not.
Is it the same Richard Holbrooke?
With a personal archivist? Yes. Yes, it is. So anyway, why would he say something like that, and how's the White House reacting to that?
Well, I think that they are struggling, and they understand very well what Holbrooke's challenge is over there. The more immediate problem will be as soon as early as tomorrow, when you may have an election result which will then be discredited, which will be challenged by Abdullah, the chief challenger, and then you will have a disputed election with widespread reports of fraud. And that will undermine all of the claims of the administration that they've actually done something important here and moved incrementally, yes, but moved Afghanistan toward a representative democracy.
All right. Hey, Andrea, thanks a lot for being with us. So we're going to be watching, as we do every day, because a lot of us have kids who know kids who smoke cigarettes, and so we TiVo it and then have them watch. What's going to be on today?
We're going to be talking a lot about the CIA Inspector General's report that comes out today and the decisions by Eric Holder now with the Office of Professional Responsibility saying that he should be prosecuting the CIA. The CIA right in the crosshairs. It's a big issue today.
Wow. That's not going away. All right, Andrea, thank you so much.